Hello everybody, welcome back to Life Stories. My name is Trent and I hope you're all doing awesome as always during these crazy turbulent times. Today, for your entertainment, we got more stories coming at you from Reddit/idontworkherelady. So, buckle in, because we're getting started now. Our first story is titled, Maintenance Worker, Not Security. This is my first time posting here, but I loved the other content and felt my story fit. I wasn't the direct I don't work here lady, as that was my sister, but Karen did think I worked there as well. Sorry it's long, but it's thorough. Backstory. This was over 20 years ago, and still has me over tip when I go to restaurants. In my senior year of high school, I worked for my sister's company. She was 10 years older than me at the time, and her husband owned a restaurant equipment service company. My sister was the office manager, and as such, dresses up in more business attire, and her husband was the lead technician. In my early years, I would help out and stock shelves, order parts, and sometimes help out with the labor for large jobs. I was an all-state football lineman, just about 6 foot and 300-ish pounds, with a lot of muscle in that bulk. So, she liked that I could help carry the equipment around and help with the installs, etc. But she also liked introducing me as her little brother. During my junior year of high school, I went to the night classes at the local CC to get my HVAC license, so that I could help them expand their business to include preventative maintenance contracts rather than just repairing/replacing things that were already broken. By my senior year, I was only in school for about 2 to 3 hours in the morning and working half days for my sister. We sold a lot of PM, preventative maintenance contracts, to a lot of her regular restaurant customers, and it was my job to perform said maintenance. So, I was in the restaurants on a monthly basis, and depending on their contracts, sometimes twice a month. I got to know the managers and cook staff quite well at a lot of these places, but not the waitstaff as much. But the waitstaff comment will be for another I don't work here lady story. Also, I might add, our company uniform was very blue collar. Literally, we wore blue work pants, blue service button-up shirts, or blue t-shirts, and the shirts had the company name clearly printed on them, and I normally have a tool belt on. And I drove a full-size work van decked out with all the company details as well, that's normally parked outside. Nobody in their right mind would assume I was security or police. On to the story. The cast consists of me, large teenager in a service uniform, RM, restaurant manager, S, server, Sis, my sister, PO and PO2, police officers, and introducing Karen as herself. I was working at a restaurant that was about 2 miles from Sis's office, and she decided to stop in and see me, as well as talk to the RM about the PM contract and how things were going with it. As a maintenance contractor, I normally knocked on the kitchen door and rarely went through the main restaurant. On this occasion, Sis met me in the parking lot and went in through the back door together, and met with RM at the kitchen door. The RM invited Sis and I to go have lunch, and he'd come and chat with us as his office was small, and aside from the desk, there was only one other chair. We entered the restaurant from the kitchen area and sat ourselves. I'm a quick eater, and I got paid by the hour, and that didn't include lunch. So as soon as I was done eating, I excused myself and let Sis and RM continue their meeting, when I went to work on the kitchen. I was about halfway through cleaning the ice machine, trying to get it done between their lunch and dinner rush, as all this ice has to be dumped during cleaning, when the Nextel on my hip crackled. Those who may not know about the Nextel, it was a cross between a cell phone and a walkie-talkie, and could be used either way. Anyways, I hear the Nextel crackle. Without the standard etiquette at the time of making it beep first to get someone's attention prior to just jumping in with the talking, and normally missing the first part of what it said. It's Sis, yelling to bring out RM to the dining area right away. I hustled towards RM's office, located off the side, kinda between the kitchen and the dining room, and got there at just about the time he's rushing out of the office. I can only assume because he heard the commotion in the dining room. He and I come out of the back, right after one another, to see Karen yelling at Sis, while blocking her in the booth. Karen to Sis. S is so damn dumb. She won't get her food. S should be fired now. I'm sorry, but like I said, I don't work here, Sis said, while holding out her business card. Why do you keep saying that? I know you do. Stop lying to me. Sorry, ladies, RM said. Can I help? What seems to be the matter? I am standing about 3 feet behind and to the left of RM, with a not very good look on my face and my arms crossed. Karen, while looking directly at me, not RM, "Good, you need to get her out of here," pointing at S. "Get her out of my sight." I must have changed my expression from angry when she was yelling at my sister to a look of WTF, because she just got more angry and started yelling at me. "Are you stupid too? Just do your damn job and get her out of my sight." Granted, I was young and didn't have the best grades, so I was a bit sensitive when I was called stupid. So I puffed out my chest and stepped towards Karen and said, "What the F?" emphasizing the F word, "did you just say to me?" At this point, RM put his hand up to stop me, and I had only taken 1 step closer, so he didn't even make contact with me. Karen, now screaming, "Call the cops! Call the cops! Call the cops!" My look went back to the WTF is going on look. The manager gestured to S with fingers to his ear like a phone, and she went to the kitchen. RM again, "Ma'am, what is going on? Is there anything I can help you with?" Karen, responding to RM but pointing at Sis, "Leave me alone and let me talk to your manager, and take your attack dog with you." We all assumed she was referring to me as the attack dog. RM to me, "Hey, John, can you just step back into the kitchen?" I just gave him a look and looked at my sis, who was still stuck in the booth with crazy Karen standing over her. He followed my gaze and looked back at me. RM to me again, "Okay, just step back a bit and see if I can calm her down." I took a few steps back, leaned on the partition wall between sections of the dining room, and recrossed my arms. I should point out that where we were in the dining room was a back section. But there were 2 ways into this section, divided by small half-wall dividing booths, with an entry on both sides, so I wasn't blocking any access point to the area. RM to Karen, pointing at Sis, "Ma'am, she is not the manager. I am. What is the problem here?" Karen, now to the entire room, "Ugh, why is everyone lying to me?" Karen turns to Sis, "What are you going to do about this?" "Ma'am, would you please take a look at my business card? I do not work here." At this point, Karen smacked my sis's hand, knocking the business card to the floor without reading it. "Then why did I see you coming out of the kitchen and meeting with the other employees? Why did you have them sign paperwork if they're not working for you?" "We do maintenance for the restaurant, and I was asking RM to update his contract." "You're lying. You don't have lunch with the security guard and other employees to clean their bathrooms." Sis then got that WTF look on her face. RM and I looked at each other with the same look. I guess the only maintenance that people think of at a restaurant is cleaning the bathrooms. "Ma'am, she is a vendor of ours. I'm the manager. Can you please stop hovering over her like that?" "Didn't I tell you to leave me alone?" At just about this time, S came back into the dining room and whispered to RM. I'm not sure what was said, but I assumed the police were on their way or something to that effect. And just as expected, the sight of S made Karen go off the deep end, which I didn't realize got any deeper than it already was. Karen turned towards S and took a step in her direction. And as she did, S took the opportunity to get out of the booth and ran towards me. RM stepped between Karen and the rest of us, S, Sis, and me, and gestured for us to go to the kitchen. Now, at this time, we couldn't hear everything, but periodic yelling from Karen, but it gave us a chance to ask S what in the world happened. "She's a whack job and comes in a lot. She always complains and never leaves a tip. This time, she just ordered her normal, and when I asked what that was, she got angry at me." S went on to say the lady wouldn't tell her what she wanted, just kept saying her normal food and then threw the menu at her, got up and walked over to Sis. A few minutes into S telling us her story, another server came in laughing and saying the cops just showed up. About another minute or so later, RM came back and said that we would need to talk to the cops. As we went out, it would appear that when we came out, and Karen had a few moments with the police officers, her story got even more crazy than I can imagine. Karen to Police Officer 1, pointing towards me, "That's him. He pulled his gun on me. I want him arrested now." Police Officer 1 looked at me, while Police Officer 2 started walking over to the group of us that came out of the kitchen. Then, Police Officer 1 looked back at Karen and said, "I thought you said he was a security guard." "Yeah, that one." Their conversation continued, but Police Officer 1 was taking her outside to talk, and we were occupied with Police Officer 2. We spent the next few minutes going over what was going on to Police Officer 2. I admitted to yelling at her and taking a step towards her when she called me stupid, but I was never close to her or even raised a hand towards her. Police Officer 2 kept asking us about a gun, but we all had the same story that nothing like that happened, and I told them I was just about to turn 18 and I didn't even own any guns, which was true. Police Officer 2 went outside, and Police Officer 1 and 2 were talking for a bit while you could see Karen still ranting. After what felt like another 5 or so minutes, we saw Police Officer 1 turning to Karen and putting handcuffs on her. Then, they got her in the cop car. Police Officer 1 and Police Officer 2 came back in after. It would appear that she was supposed to be medicated and hasn't taken her medication. Police Officer 1 asked if Sis wanted to press charges for slapping her hand, and something else, but I can't recall what. But she said no. I'm not sure what happened to Karen after all that, but I do know that ever since this time, I've always tried to treat servers nicely and tip well. Hey, I mean, at the end of the day, we can only hope that Karen's in a better spot mentally, but hey, it's good that it worked out for you guys. And with that out of the way, ladies and gentlemen, that is all the time we have for Life Stories today. I want to thank you so much for tuning in to another episode, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more Reddit content coming your way. My name is Trent, and I hope to see you guys soon.